Time for my weekly video. This has been a busy week for me. I had to get all the legalities involved in buying the car, but right now, uh, when I decided to buy the car, I paid my seller 2,400, and he filled out the bottom of his title. Here in Florida, you fill out the bottom of the title, and and then you mail it into the the uh, the state, and then you have to pay the sales tax and the fees, and it came out to about $260, 270, 280. I don't know. They all add up. I had to pay sales tax, so that'd be 7% off of 2,400. Plus, there's about $80 to transfer the registration from my Plymouth to my Hyundai, and then other fees. So it came out to about 270, 280. And the lady goofed and forgot to, she forgot to tell me that she gave me the wrong amount. I needed to pay another $5 to apply for the temporary tag for my Plymouth. So, and you can't go to the offices, the state offices, to do it because they're all closed. They'll only deal with you because of the coronavirus through mail, or yeah, basically through the mail and the phone. That's it. So any questions I have to send them an email they have like a contact email form at their website, and then they usually call back the next day to answer questions. So good news is I currently have my vehicle registration for Florida is now with my new car, so that's been done. I also have a title with my new car, but I still need to sell my 99 Plymouth car, my 99 car. And I wrote them some questions. I'm going to sell it to a junk dealer. I contacted the Chrysler dealership in my area, and they said they're not interested in buying a 1999 Plymouth. It has very low miles, though, probably only about 87,000 miles. But you know what? I hear from some reputable mechanics that I've been listening to online, like I think the Scott Kilmer guy or something, that Chrysler cars are junk cars. So that's probably why Chrysler doesn't want to buy the car. They figure any car that's Chrysler that's 99 is probably falling apart left and right, which basically it was. One of the reasons I bought the Hyundai is I did an online search for what is the best type of car to get if you're spending under $3,000. And Hyundai, there were several Hyundai cars on the list, along with Toyota, Honda, and I think there was a Ford on there. And so that's why I decided to get them. Jesus said that I was forbidden to spend more than 2,500. You might say, well, it's gone over 2,500 because you paid 2,400 plus the tag and all that. Well, I think the way Jesus is going to work it, but the problem with my Plymouth is that the odometer, I can't read it, and I believe it's a fuse problem, which is a really easy fix. My men actually sent me a fuse kit for Christmas, but Loree McBride sabotaged it and it got sent back to them. So I never got it. And so they mailed another fuse kit for me on the 3rd, I believe it was. Yeah, the 3rd of this month, Friday. And I can go online and go to the U.S. Postal Service website and see what's coming in. And so I emailed Terrance and I said, Terrance, it's not coming. He called and he found out there's been a delay. And Jesus said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So apparently it's going to come when Jesus wants it to come. Jesus is obviously going to protect this shipment. But I got in trouble with Jesus this week. You see, I went out to look at my car, and I noticed there was a teeny weeny rust spot up on the top that I didn't notice when I bought the car. And because I have a big rust problem with my Plymouth, I thought, oh no, I gotta hit this. So I ordered what I thought I needed to do: auto paint, a sandpaper, Rust-Oleum wax and tar remover, and all this stuff to try to fix it myself. And I ended up spending about $50 to $60. And Brent contacted me on Skype and said Jesus was crying and that I had disobeyed the Gale commandments. And they said, as a result of disobeying, I figured I wanted to hit the rust quick, you know. Apparently, my men have some technology that they can use on the rust to keep it from spreading. So I don't, so, you know, the Church of Gale mechanics do work on my cars. And so apparently, so Brent said, Gail, I don't like it when we make Jesus upset. So if you can, just try to see if you can return those items. So I contacted Walmart because I got it through Walmart. And I'm in the process of returning everything so that Jesus, so that way I can undo that. And another thing he wanted me, I ordered a fuse kit because I figured Loree would block the fuse kit again, my weak faith. And my men said, send that back too. Jesus said he's got it covered. So I was able to cancel the fuse kit and cancel the sandpaper, but they already shipped the wax and tar remover and the paint and the paint brushes that I was going to use to try to fix it myself. So I had to get return labels printed out. Oh, it was so complicated trying to figure out how to do it. The best thing to do is just obey Jesus in the first place, and then your life is simpler. So the past couple days, I've been figuring out the proper way to return all this stuff. Walmart said we didn't sell it. You have to contact the seller for returns on this. So I had to contact the seller. The seller for the paint said just write refused on the package. So I did that. It came in today, and I wrote refused on it and dropped it off at the post office. I was going to drop off the rust and tar remover. That's allergies. That's what I'm. Loree's been dropping bombs like crazy, man, and giving me diarrhea and maybe putting yeast in those bombs, making my eyes water. My men said that because I disobeyed the Gale commandments and spent money on stuff that wasn't food and bills, that my Gale shield is now at 75% strength. When it's normally about 93 to 95%. So hopefully when all those items get returned, the Gale shield's going to get back up to 93 to 95%, and I won't be reacting so much to Loree's bombs. Oh, she's terrible, man. She's terrible. She is such an evil, ugly person. You might say physically she's not ugly. Well, she's ugly because she's got an ugly heart. She's proud and cold and vicious and vindictive and dropping all these bombs. She wants me dead. Well, anyways, so what I did is I went to the post office today. It was just hilarious. They've got like these social distancing lines, like spaces. Even though I think everybody's going overboard about this, I respect people's fears about the coronavirus, and I am social distancing and doing all this stuff, except I'm not wearing masks when I go out. To me, that's just too much, you know. But I mean, I'm social distancing and doing all the stuff they recommend. Anyways, I went to the post office, and that's allergies, folks. Ugh. Stop your bombs, Loree McBride, or whoever. Yeah, it's Loree McBride or one of her agents doing it. So when I got to the post office, they had these plastic strips there. I guess that's if you cough, it won't land on them, you know. And she said, that package you got, that's FedEx. That's not us. I said, you sure? They told me I could use post offices. Yeah, that's FedEx. She said, and it's a good thing that box was too big to fit in the post office box, because I was thinking of putting it in the post office box, but it was too big. So I had to bring it in the post office. If I had done that return would have been really delayed. That was for the wax and tar remover. They put it in a huge box. So what I did is I put the Walmart label, which I found out was a FedEx label. So she said, no, we don't take that. So she said, yeah, we'll take that refused. And so I said, yeah, the company told me to just put refused on it. So I X'd out my address, wrote refused on there, dropped it off at the post office. Then I drove over to the FedEx office. I knew where it was because I accidentally, a week ago, when I was trying to get something done, I asked with UPS. I accidentally went to the FedEx office instead of UPS. So anyways, so I knew where the FedEx office was. So I drove out to the FedEx office and I had to wait, social distancing. He said, okay. He said, when I tell you, you can come and drop the package off. So I said, okay. He said, now step back. So I stepped back and he waited. And I told him that I was planning on dropping it off at the post office. He said, it's a good thing you didn't do that, because if you had done that, it would have definitely been a delayed return. He said, this is definitely our stuff. So this label is for FedEx. So and tomorrow, my last item to be returned will be coming in the mail. I know, because I get notices at my email about anything arriving from the post office. And then I know now that I'm going to put the Walmart label on it and go to FedEx. Okay, so after I did that, I only have one more item to return. I bought 5 items that I should not, actually 6 items that I should not have. And about 3 of them I was able to cancel. And one was a real easy return because it was a Walmart store pickup deal. And I just called Walmart and said I don't want it, and they just shipped it back. And that one's already been taken care of. So the next thing I did is I decided to go shopping at Walmart. And I wasn't sure what it would be like, because the last time I shopped was like a month ago. So I went in the store and I noticed they had these spray bottles and paper. I actually appreciate that. I'm kind of a germaphobe, to be honest with you. I always have been. I think part of the problem is that I have a bachelor's degree in health. Yes, I do. I never talk about it, but yes, I have 2 bachelor's degrees. I've got one in health and I've got one in like missions and education. So Florida State University, I actually graduated cum laude with a degree in health. And I have a humanities degree from Baptist University of America, Bible College, and that's like missions and education. So because of my degree in health, I aced my microbiology class, the lab especially. And because of that, I kind of appreciate all this. The only thing I didn't like, because when I used to be a Walmart cashier, this is allergies, folks. Oh, but Loree McBride, stop dropping your stinking yeast bombs. And I'm allergic to yeast toxin too. And so, but when I was at the store, those stinking Jesuits were trying to bump into me. They're not practicing social distancing, folks. They're telling you guys to do social distancing, but they're not doing social distancing. I was in the frozen food aisle at Walmart, and there was this fat boy, about a 10-year-old boy, about 7 feet in front of me. And I could have swore, man, I could tell I was bumping into Jesuits. The Jesuits are not practicing social distancing. They're taking delight in flouting the laws that they are imposing on everybody else. In other words, the laws are for you, they're not for them. They're allowed to violate them. But boy, if you violate these Jesuit laws, you're in big trouble with Loree McBride. So Loree McBride creates the coronavirus. She gets everybody all hysterical about it. And she's hiring political agents to take over the news media and get everybody to practice social distancing. But do you think she's practicing social distancing? Are you kidding? Huh. If she could rape Brent Spiner, she would do it in a split second. Talk about not practice. I mean, the real Brent Spiner. She's married to the Brent Spiner clone. And so here I was in the frozen food aisle, and this kid about 7 feet in front of me was going, he was faking coughing. Yes, right in front of me. You know, Loree knows that I think that she's going overboard with all this stuff. So she thinks, well, since Gail thinks this is all overboard, we're allowed to cough around her. Loree McBride, I don't want your dumb kid agents coughing in front of me. And I never have liked people coughing around me, unless they cough like they're supposed to, like in here, you know. But no. Whenever Loree has her Jesuit agents around me, they never cough the polite way. It's always, so this little kid was going, and I could swear he was doing it on purpose. And he kept looking at me like, it's like, am I going to get paid my bonus from Loree McBride for aggravating Gail by doing this? And I looked, he was going, And I'm thinking, okay. I said, that is really stinking rude. That is stinking rude. See, Loree thinks she can use Jesuit kids because she'll just say, oh, this is a kid. He doesn't know any better. Oh, I bet he knew exactly what he was doing. Hey, man, when I go out shopping, you need to look out for Jesuits, man. That's rude. You might say, well, do you think you're going to get coronavirus? Actually, I don't think he was sick. I think that was a fake cough, but that was stinking rude, especially with all the hysteria that's going on right now. I was the only one in that aisle. There were some people coming in with masks. They may say, well, you should wear a face mask if you're worried about that. Oh, I'm not going to do that. Okay? That would be violating the Gale commandments. Even Jesus said getting a face mask is overboard for this. I mean, I'm not going to, I respect people that want to do that, but for me, no. I don't feel like it's necessary. You may say, oh, you're going to get the corona. Actually, I don't even think the kid was sick. I think he was coughing to aggravate me. But that makes me mad. That's rude. That is stinking rude. Anyways, you guys, when I don't like people coughing, even when there's not a coronavirus. I don't want to catch your cold. I don't want to get your flu. Man, if you're sick, stay home. Unless you have to go out. You know, one thing I liked about Japan, I visited Japan about in 1977. And I used to ride on their bullet trains. And one thing I really respected about the Japanese is if they have a cold, they wear a face mask. I think that is a very polite, cool thing to do. And it's really ironic because, I mean, if that kid really had a cold, he should have been wearing a face mask and coughing into that. That's what he should have done. Yeah, especially now with all this crazy stuff going on. So you might say, oh, so what I did is I held my breath and went past him really quick. I thought, well, you know, he's probably not sick. I think he's faking it. But just in case he's got the flu or a cold, I hear this coronavirus is just like the flu. That's what Brett Spiner, MD, tells me. But still, I don't want to get the flu. I don't want to catch the flu. Actually, I practice, so I'm just mentioning that, you guys, when I go out there, you need to arrest these Jesuits, man. That's stinking rude. And when I go out for my walks, the Jesuits try to come near me. It's like I run away from them and they come towards me. Hey, you guys, I practice social distancing all the time. I've been doing it for as long, from at least 2001 or 1999 when I figured out the Jesuits were on to me. But they don't care about, they always try to intersect with me. They just love to harass me. Like I go into the store, they walk within 1 foot of me. They don't care about that 6-foot rule. For the Jesuits, it doesn't apply. They're allowed to break it. So they walk within 1 foot of me and they go, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Thinking, oh yeah, I bet you are, Jesuit. And then the little kid going, and I'm thinking, right, it's funny, it's like he planted himself about 5 feet in front of me, kind of looked at me, and then he went, I'm thinking, oh, thanks. And then it was like he kept looking at me. Did I make her mad? Like, Loree McBride's going to pay me a big bonus. I just kind of tried to go by him with that. Those Walmart carts are creaky and they don't move real quick. I thought, thanks a lot. I don't need all that stuff in the air getting all over my food. You know, I don't like that even when there's not a coronavirus going around. No. Like I said, I aced my microbiology course. I was a nursing major for a while. And then I switched my major to health because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was young. I'm not the nursing type, but I was in a Bachelor of Science nursing program for a while. So yeah, I don't appreciate that stuff. Anyway, so I got out of there. I had a nice conversation with the cashier. She was very nice, but there were a lot of Jesuit customers in that, and they kept trying to run into me, getting with them. They don't care about the 6-foot rule. They are exceptions. They're allowed to violate it. It's us folks that really are polite and are trying to respect everybody's fear about the coronavirus. We're the ones who try to respect the 6-foot rule. But for Jesuits, oh no. It's like, we don't have to do it. We made this whole thing up to get you all crazy and to try to ruin Trump's economy, though Jesus said it's going to bounce right back. Anyways, I had to give my little spiel there about these Jesuits. So anyways, but let me tell you something. Somebody commented under my last video where I was going with the test drive with my friend, the one who sold me the car. And they're saying, you're not practicing social distancing. Well, he had the AC on, bringing in outside air. And I know for a fact that he's worried about this stuff because he told me when he goes shopping, he wears a mask over him. He said, well, he didn't wear a mask with you. Apparently when he found out I was a fellow believer in Jesus like him, and I told him that I practice social distancing all the time, he believed me. So I said, the chances of me being sick is pretty slim. I only like go out like 3 or 4 times a month just to do shopping, and that's about it. And I said, I'm so, and let me tell you, because I practice social distancing all the time since like 1999. Well, when I worked at Walmart as a cashier, I got sick a couple times a year. You can't be helped because I had to use the public restroom all the time because I have urinary frequency, which isn't really good with. Oh, when I was at Walmart, no toilet paper, no paper towels, and they were out of the powdered dry milk that I like to get. Fortunately, because I have urinary frequency, I tend to buy large batches of toilet paper. So I got enough for about 2 months. But when I went to the aisle where the toilet paper and the paper towels are, totally empty. I thought, this is crazy. And Jesus says that these people are practicing very bad financial management by buying all this toilet paper. He says they're going into debt on their credit cards, buying massive amounts of toilet paper. And when this epidemic is over, or when the craziness is over, they're not going to be able to return that, and it'll be a financial loss. That's what Jesus said. I don't know. He said the world's lost their common sense right now. So anyways, Jesus was very upset with me for spending $60 to try to fix that rust spot on the roof of the car. And he wants me to trust him that he's going to take care of my car. And they do have Church of Gale mechanics working on that car. So now he's forbidden me to make any online purchases. But I do have he said you're allowed to have an Amazon wish list, but he says, I don't want you acting like these are needs. He says, tell your followers that those are wants, and don't try to guilt them into supporting you there. He says, I don't like it when you do that, Gail. So, but I will say that I do have a want. I have enough toilet paper towels for maybe 6 weeks if I'm frugal. But at Amazon, you can get something like paper towels, but I'm not allowed to order online. So if one of you guys wants to get it on my Amazon wish list, I have it on the Amazon wish list. But if not, maybe within 6 weeks, there'll be paper towels at the supermarket. If not, I might have to play some tricks like going to Publix at 8 in the morning, which is kind of rough for me because I stay up far too late, and trying to see if I can get them then, It's crazy. To be honest with you, I actually kind of like the social distancing because I've always been a bit of a germaphobe, but I don't like it when I go to the store and I'm not able to get toilet paper or paper towels. I mean, that's crazy. So I think I'd rather have things get back to normal. Loree McBride, are you making a secret profit off of toilet paper? Huh? Do you have a secret deal with the toilet paper companies or something? Anyways, so I've been really, really busy. As far as my Bible for Tribulation Saints audiobook, I am going to get back on that, but I've been so busy dealing with the new car, and I still have to sell my Plymouth because right now I'm paying auto insurance for 2 cars, and I really can't afford to be doing that for a long time. So I do want to sell that car, but I do believe I'm going to sell it, and that when I do, the total cost for my new car will be $2,500 or less when you figure in the profit that I'm going to make from the Plymouth. You might say, how much do you think you're going to make? Well, I've got to get the odometer fixed, which I believe I can do once I get my fuses in there. That's an easy fix. I already know how to do it. I'm waiting for the fuse kit. And then I can write the odometer in Florida. You got to write the odometer amount on the title when you sell the car. So anyways, that's what I've been doing, folks, dealing with cars. And I went in there and cleaned it out a little bit. The person who sold it to me he's a very nice person. And Jesus said, you made a new friend because you did the Gale commandments and you got a wonderful little car. It was so hot today. It was so good to have AC. So it was time for my video, and I just wanted to let you know that Jesus said the only time you can go into your savings is when I give you permission to do so. He said, if I don't give you permission to use your savings and you do, you are violating the Gale commandments. And so Gale Shield go down to 75%. Sorry, Jesus. But he said, I do respect you, Gail, that you're admitting your mistake and you're trying to get this thing right. Actually, the good news is every single purchase I made that was a violation of the Gale commandments, I think I'm going to be able to get a 100% refund. Yeah, because I have to drive out to FedEx. It's kind of a pain in the neck to get it because these companies are not Walmart and I have to deal with the company directly. But it looks like Walmart is going to pay for shipping. But they give me shipping labels for some of them, but I have to drive out to the FedEx office. But that's okay. At least I have a nice, comfortable car to drive in now. The AC, I haven't had AC since 2009 in my car. So I just wanted to let you all know what I was doing and how I'm trying to be better about doing the Gale commandments. Jesus gave me a new rule. He said, thou shalt not do online shopping. He doesn't trust me there. But as far as social distancing with Mark, the one that I bought the car from, he's a really nice guy. And I don't believe he was trying to rip me off. And the car, it was a Hyundai. And Hyundai, any car that is the kind of car that isn't going to cause you a lot of mechanical problems, like a Toyota, a Honda, a Hyundai, those cars are hard to get under $1,000 unless they're ready to go to the junk shop. So paying $2,400 for that car is about right because the AC works, all the windows worked. I actually poured water over the window pane. There were no leaks, and we've had several rainstorms, so those cracks in the window have been fixed. You don't always have to replace the entire windshield when you have a crack in a window. If you hit the damage right away, you can get a fix. So that's what he did. Mark is like an amateur auto mechanic, and I noticed he's really good with money. And he was giving me all sorts of advice about how to maintain the car, and he said this is a good little car. He said he's going to miss it, that it hardly ever has mechanical problems. He put new spark plugs in it last year. He said the AC has never, ever needed Freon or anything. And he said, that's amazing. He said, this is the first car I've had that has been like this. And he let me pour water over the sunroof and there were no leaks. I poured water over the windshield, no leaks. And I kind of examined the crack in there that he fixed. It looks pretty solid. He put some sort of lacquer in there that he said that really sealed it permanently. And yeah, it seems like it's a good, solid little car. As far as my Plymouth has an excellent engine. I'm going to have to hype that up when I sell it. The odometer, I know it only has like 87,000 miles. But because there's no AC and because the windows are broken and because the upholstery on the roof is kind of fallen down, nobody is going to want that car because it's a Plymouth. If it was a Toyota or a Honda, which have very good, mechanical reviews for old cars, I could expect to get a higher price. But because it's a Chrysler, forget it. I will never, ever buy Chrysler again. Never. No. Those cars are not built to last. They're built to break down. So I wanted to get a foreign-made car. I wanted like a Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, one of them cars. And I wanted something that I wouldn't be living in the mechanic shop because I can't afford that. And I believe I got my car. So I was impressed with Mark when I was with him because he was sharing his mechanical knowledge, and I could tell he's a bit of an auto mechanic. So he knew how to maintain the car cheaply but effectively, and he gave me lots of good tips. He wasn't trying to rip me off. He seemed like a real honest person to me. Let's see. In fact, he didn't. he's from Texas and he didn't really know Florida law, and I had to help him out a little bit. But we worked it out between the two of us. So we got it all legal and all that. So the next big thing is to sell the Plymouth. And I just wanted to say also that as far as social distancing, somebody was saying, you were Mark and you were practicing social distancing. Believe me, he would be more worried. When he showed up, he offered me his hand and I said, nope, let's do foot shakes. So we did foot taps. So I was practicing social distancing. He was willing to, I told him on the phone that I thought all this coronavirus stuff was overboard, but that I respected people's fears about it. And I wouldn't do anything that would, to try to spread the germ, that I was practicing social distancing to be well-mannered. Unlike that Jesuit kid at the frozen food aisle in Walmart who deliberately coughed in front of me. So, yeah, I wouldn't even shake his hand. I'm not a handshaker anyways. Did you know the real Brent Spiner is a doctor and he does not like to shake hands? So it has nothing to do with the coronavirus. It's just a stupid thing to do. Why do you have to shake hands? So that'll be one good thing about all this craziness. Maybe people will stop shaking hands and do things like, or foot bumps. That's the way I do it. But I practice social distancing all the time. Now, when I worked at Walmart, I was forced to deal with Jesuits in my line. Jesuits would, when I was a cashier, Jesuits would come in my line, they would cough all over their hands, and then load all their stuff. They did it on purpose. They were trying to make me sick. So I was always using hand sanitizer. I would dry my hands out so much by the time I got home from work that night, I had to put moisturizing lotion on my hands so that I could stand it. I've always been a bit of a germaphobe. It's because I aced my microbiology course using those oil immersion lenses and looking at all those germs under the microscope. You're ruined for life. I aced that lab too. So I've had a microbiology course, folks. And so, yeah, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something impressive. To show you how good I practice social distancing. Oh, let that phone, ignore it. It's probably Trump. I always get these emails from him. Send me money. I said, send Trump money. I need money more than he needs money. So, besides, that would be a violation of the Gale commandments. So, you know what? I'm always trying to avoid Jesuits. Like if I go for my walk and I see one coming towards me, I'll deliberately go out of the way. And they're always out there with their dogs, usually not on a leash, which is against the law in Brevard County. But they don't care. The Jesuits think they're above the law. So I practice social distancing. I'm trying to avoid Jesuits whenever I go to the store. I don't like it when people get too close to me. It makes me nervous because I think this is a Jesuit. I don't like strangers getting close to me. So I do it all the time. And guess what? Because I practice social distancing, trying to avoid Jesuits, you know how many times I've been sick? I have only caught one cold since about January 2012. Yep, that's all I've caught since 2012. Some of you guys out there criticizing me for not practicing social distancing, I bet you can't boast about something like that unless you lied. So don't get after me for saying, you need to practice social distancing. I practice social distancing all year round. And that's why I hardly ever get sick. That's right. I haven't caught anything. So that's why I hardly ever go to the doctor. I'm never sick. The only time I get sick is when Loree drops her germ bombs over my head, like she's doing right now. And usually I can tell it's a germ bomb because I'll be sick only when the germ bomb is over my head. And once the air clears and all her germ debris from that bomb is gone, I'm fine the next day. It's like I wasn't even sick the day before. So I can always tell when it's a germ bomb. Now, if I caught something from person-to-person contact, which is very rare for me because I practice social distancing all year round for like the past 8 years. Yeah, about the past 8 years. The only time I've caught something from person-to-person contact was when my stepdad was dying and I had to go visit him in the hospital and I caught something at the hospital. And I ended up with, I think it was a cold or a gastrointestinal. And it only lasted a couple of days, and I was able to fight it off by just drinking a lot of liquids, getting rest, and that sort of thing. That was it. That's all I've caught. You may say, well, you're sniffling right now. That's allergy. Allergy. You see, when she drops the germ bomb and maybe yeast, Loree McBride is criticizing people for not doing social distancing. But yet she puts Jesuit kids at the grocery store who cough right in my air they're a lot closer than 6 feet. It's like, I bet she paid that kid. Said, I'll give you a bunch of toys if you aggravate Gail. Yeah. Jesuit kid, a wicked Jesuit kid. And then she drops germ bombs, making everybody sick, while she's saying everybody needs to practice social distancing, and Trump isn't doing enough. Yeah, he's funking. Yeah, Loree, so while you drop germ bombs all over everybody, making everybody sick, you're going to preach at Trump and other people saying that they're not doing enough because they aren't doing enough to alleviate the symptoms from that germ you created. I bet this is a human engineered germ, a Loree McBride creation. Actually, Brent tells me it's just like the regular flu. I said, well, isn't it more contagious than the regular flu? He said, nope, just like the regular flu. He said, you just treat it like the regular flu season. But, I don't want to get the flu. So I don't have a problem with social distancing. I do have a problem with everybody buying out all the toilet paper and the paper towels. That's crazy. What does that have to do with the coronavirus? Insane in the membrane. Anyways, I'm going to get off now. I had to make my weekly video, let you know. I am going to get back to doing the Bible for Tribulation Saints audiobooks. But I've been super duper busy dealing with all sorts of car legal stuff related to the car, and making sure I fill out the paperwork right so I get this all done legally and I don't have problems. I'm going to sell that Plymouth to a junk dealer. I think I'll get the most money that way, simply because it has low mileage and practically has brand new tires, almost a new starter. The engine is excellent. They can sell the parts. And yeah, we'll see how much I get for it. But I think it'll be enough so that I'll be within Jesus's $2,500 range. Anyways, you guys, Jesus has got this all under control. And if you have caught the coronavirus, Brent told me there were people at Church of Gale that caught it and they panicked at first, but they calmed down when he said this is just should be handled like the regular flu. He said that's how you handle it. So, yeah. So did you think you're going to get sick of that little boy? I don't even think he was sick. I think he just did it to aggravate me. But one thing that I do is after I go shopping, I do nasal irrigation. Whenever I go out in public, when I come back, I do nasal irrigation to kind of flush any germs that might be in my nasal membranes. I don't know if it helps, but I don't think it hurts. But I do that. I do that every day. I irrigate my sinuses every day for allergies and maybe to flush out any viruses or whatever. So I did that right away when I came back from the store. I washed my hands. He might have got some of his germs on my frozen strawberries and my frozen vegetables, but I stuck them in the freezer, and my prediction is within 3 days, those germs will be dead, and I won't need to worry. They're going to be frozen. Anyways, you all, yeah, you don't need to panic about this. And for God's sake, just buy the normal amount of toilet paper. You don't need to buy a year's worth of toilet paper. That's crazy. That's poor financial management. Plus, it's not fair to people that need toilet paper.